Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you, and welcome back to another taste test. Today, I'm going to be tasting a bunch of ice cream flavors, more specifically, cereal milk flavored ice cream. So cereal milk is exactly what it sounds like. It's the milk that's left in your bowl after you've eaten your breakfast cereal, more specifically a sweetened breakfast cereal. So the milk at the end tastes like the cereal that you've eaten and is usually very sweet. I often left my milk behind because I was not a big milk fan, but I also remember drinking the milk and having it be very sweet and tasting of this cereal. Now that is very nostalgic for many people, and way back in 2006, Christina Tosi was the executive dessert chef at Momofuku and came up with a dessert that was flavored with cereal milk. I believe they did cakes or cookies, panna cotta. I think they did a few different things. It really took off, super popular. And today I'm going to be tasting a supermarket variety going on, 20 years later. Kellogg's has come out with a line of ice creams that are flavored with their cereal. So they're cereal milk flavored ice creams. So I'm excited to see if they've captured that artificial milky goodness that we remember when we were kids. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got my ice creams. By the way, I have new tote bags with my new logo. If you would like to get one for yourself, I'll put a link down in the description. So what do we got? Honey Smacks, classic. This used to have a frog as its little spokes animal, but I don't see a frog anymore. That's disappointing. Honey Smacks. And Fruit Loops, classic. This also had a animal spokes animal. It was a toucan, a bird. And this one is not a breakfast cereal, but I got it anyways because it was lined up with the others. This is the Eggo ice cream maple, buttery maple. So that one's an outlier. This is the Rice Krispie Treats ice cream. It contains Rice Krispies, which is a cereal, but they are not sweetened. So I understand why they went with Rice Krispie Treats, which are made with marshmallow and of course are very sweet. So that would make a much better tasting ice cream than just plain rice cereal. And then we've got Apple Jacks. This is another classic. And Frosted Flakes, very classic. Corn Flakes covered in sugariness. Last one I've got is Corn Pops, another corn-based cereal. So let's start with this one, just cause. You know what I just learned? I was just inspecting my ice cream dishers. Although I use these mostly to scoop out cookie dough, I saw a little reel that explained that these scoopers actually have numbers on them, on this little mechanism, this little thing. And the numbers tell you what size scoop they are. And the smaller the number, the larger the scoop. So on this little mechanism right here, there's a 70 and it says 1 tablespoon. This one is a 40. This one might be easier to see. And it's 1.5 tablespoons. But what about this one? This is a vintage one. And sure enough, it says 16. This is an old disher that I got from the thrift store. It's like Bakelite. And sure enough, on that little mechanism, it says 16. So I don't know exactly the tablespoonage, but it's a 16-side scooper. Cool, I learned something new. Alrighty, let's try to actually use one of these to scoop ice cream. I don't use them for ice cream. Like I said, I usually use them for making cookies. So Apple Jacks, classic cereal that are ring-shaped, coated with sweetness, and they come in orange and green, kind of an orange-green sort of pastel color. Curious to see what the ice cream color is going to be. Branding. Oh, and these were not inexpensive. These were $4.99 a pint. Oh, they're not even a full pint. They're 14 ounces. Wow, that is not what I was expecting. What's that? A caramel swirl? All right. I do smell an apple-y scent, kind of like a apple Jolly Rancher. I was not expecting that either. When I think of Apple Jacks, I think cinnamon, not not Christmas. Look, it looks like Christmas. It's green and red. Whoa. They're orange. What? Confused. And there looks to be like a caramel bit in there. All right. So there it is. So the caramel drizzle's actually is a bit firm. It's not stretchy. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Apple Jacks. Wow. That's not caramel. That's like a cinnamon swirl. Very strong cinnamon flavor. And it's not stretchy caramel. It's kind of crumbly and very cinnamony. I'm not really a fan. The ice cream has a little bit of a artificial appley flavor and vanilla and kind of milky creaminess, but the cinnamon doesn't come from the ice cream, it's in the swirl. So it's very concentrated and kind of gritty. You hear that? And so very cinnamony. It's kind of unbalanced in my opinion. I would much rather have the cinnamon flavor be more evenly distributed than kind of in these concentrated bands of sandiness. Yeah, I was never a huge fan of Apple Jacks anyways, but I definitely prefer the cereal to the ice cream. And if I were to taste this, I might register Apple Jacks. I guess that'll be my determination whether or not the ice cream is successful. Does it remind me of the cereal? Sort of. I think I'd have to try pretty hard to come up with Apple Jacks if I were just tasting this ice cream. Next, let's try Honey Smacks. Now, I do remember having this as a kid, not too often. I remember it having a very toasted, sweet flavor. And I wasn't a big fan of that toasted flavor. So that was what the cereal looked like. And I'm not sure if it was puffed barley. It didn't quite taste like rice, so some kind of grain. But I remember not really loving that kind of grainy, nutty flavor. But let's give it a go. Let's see it in ice cream form. Okay, there it is. Let's see if this one has a swirl in it. Yeah, there's a little bit of a caramel swirl kind of drizzled in there. In this case, it's not caramel, but probably a honey, right? Alrighty, let's give this one a taste. Let's see what's... This one smells like cereal. Has a cereal grain smell to it. Alrighty, let's give it a taste. Here we go. Honey Smacks. Itadakimasu. Okay. This one actually tastes like cereal. The texture is a little bit whipped. The ice cream itself isn't all that rich. It's more milky, which I think is appropriate since we're having cereal milk. But this one tastes like grains. It tastes like a cereal. But does it taste like Honey Smacks? I think it does. I think this one actually has a cereal ground into it. The Apple Jacks one, I didn't really notice any mouthfeel in terms of cereal texture. This one, I can feel some kind of graininess. And it tastes oaty. It does taste of a grain. Do I like it? It's all right. I like this one better than the Apple Jacks. Especially if you're a Honey Smacks fan, I think you'll like this one. I think this is a pretty well-balanced ice cream. And appropriate for the genre of ice cream. You know, when you think of ice cream and vanilla and caramel, this flavor works. Let's try this one next. This is not technically an ice cream. It's called Eggo Ice Cream Buttery Maple. It's made with Eggo Waffles, which is a breakfast item, but not a breakfast cereal. So enjoy the classic taste of Eggo Waffles with a delicious blend of brown butter, flavored ice cream with rich maple swirls. Okay, so buttery maple. I think this is an appropriate flavored ice cream. I get waffle cone, buttery, kind of like a butter pecan. All those things seem appropriate for an ice cream flavor. So let's see how it is. I like the branding on the inside. I think that's clever. Oh, immediately I noticed that there is a swirl. and it's a stretchy caramel swirl. See? And are there pieces in here? Gosh, they look a lot darker than what I think of when I think of an Eggo waffle. You buy Eggo waffles in the freezer section, and then you keep them in the freezer. When you want a waffle, you pop them into the toaster, and they're usually this yellow color, not this kind of dark brown. See that? That's all right. Let's give it a taste. Definitely smells of artificial maple syrup, kind of like Mrs. Butterworth kind of maple smell. All right, let's give it a taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. All right. All right. This one works for me. This tastes like butter pecan ice cream. It has that artificial buttery flavor, but instead of pecans, you have pieces of waffle cone, not pieces of Eggo waffle. That would be strange and kind of spongy. I like that they chose to use waffle cone because it's nice and crunchy. This one, in my opinion, works really well. The flavors are familiar, and the flavors, more importantly, in my opinion, are appropriate. Buttery, maple syrupy, artificial flavory, tastes mass-produced, industrial flavors. Yep, all that's right here. This one's good. Like that one. Next, let's try this one. This is a classic childhood cereal flavor, and it's Kellogg's Fruit Loops. So Fruit Loops are these little loops, all rainbow colored, coated in sweetness, and in my opinion, tastes of lemon extract. Yep. Despite all the different colors, they all taste the same. So let's see. Ooh, this one has a fun color. This one looks a little bit like funfetti. The ice cream base is white, but then you have all these little tiny, tiny flecks of rainbow. And it has a slight smell to it, but not very strong. It's pretty creamy. So the pieces of cereal are very small, just tiny little flecks, really. Let's see how this one is. Here we go. Ooh. No, yeah. Initially when I tasted it, it tasted very kind of tutti fruity, kind of a fruit punchy flavor. But now that it settles in, that lemony flavor is coming through. And it does taste like the cereal. But I don't like it. No. As a kid, I went through a Fruity Pebbles stage, which has a similar kind of fruity flavor, but a much bigger crunch than Fruit Loops. So I did like that flavor as a kid, but now, no. It does taste of the cereal though. It has kind of a corny flavor to it, along with the fruit punchy, lemony flavor. I don't care for it. The texture's a little bit odd. You can feel a little bit of the ground cereal in there. So it's not quite rough, but it's like a particulate, you know what I mean? And I think the thing I don't like about this the most is just the flavor. So this one's a miss for me. I'm not a big Fruit Loop fan, but if you are, then this might be for you. Next, let's try Kellogg's Corn Pops. These are made with this cereal. It's like a little puff, like corn snacks, lightly sweetened. So I'm guessing this is gonna taste like corn. Let's see. Ooh, like the yellow color. This one looks like it has the cereal ground in there as well. No swirls of anything. It's just the cereal ground into the ice cream base. Alrighty. Ooh, yes, it smells like cereal box a little bit. Alrighty, let's give this one a go. You know, the texture of these are a little bit weird. They're kind of stretchy, a little bit chewy. This one definitely tastes similar to the Honey Smacks. It has a grain flavor to it. This one tastes so familiar, and I think I've got it now. It tastes like when you get an ice cream cone, more specifically a cake cone, and it gets soggy and you eat it at the very end. It's like soaked in with the ice cream. You know what I mean? And it's kind of soft, and that's what this tastes like. It tastes like a cake cone that has soaked up melted ice cream. Not great. Next, let's try this one. This is Rice Krispie treats. So it's made with these Rice Krispies, which are puffed rice cereal, with marshmallow, because that's what Rice Krispie treats are made with, marshmallow and butter. That sounds like it'll make a good ice cream, right? Ooh, this one's very white. I don't smell any cereal. Oh, I saw a little bit of something. So maybe this has little bits of Rice Krispie treats in it. All right, let's give this one a go. Ooh. At first I thought I liked it. The ice cream base is kind of marshmallowy, vanilla-y, and then you have little bits of Rice Krispie treats in there, which are crunchy and very sweet. But this tastes almost coconutty to me. It's not quite marshmallowy, but it's not so sweet. I was expecting it to be very, very sweet. I kind of enjoy the pieces of Rice Krispie treats. They're still a little bit crispy, so that textural contrast is nice, but the ice cream base I'm having trouble with. Not as good as I was hoping for. I thought this one would be solid because we've got marshmallow, vanilla, Rice Krispie treats, buttery flavor, but this one's a little off. It tastes, like I said, coconutty. Odd. Yeah, man. So for our last flavor, we have the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and they had the mascot of Tony the Tiger, and he would say, "They're great." But again, there's no mascots. Why not? No Tony. But there's a little bit of the cereal, which are cornflakes that are generously frosted with sugar. So that's what I'm expecting this to taste like. Oh, immediately I can see flecks of cereal in a kind of cream colored milk base. Let's give this one a go. Here we go. No. 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 This too has a very strong grainy cereal flavor to it. I know these are supposed to be cereal milks, but they overpower the ice cream. In general, these all taste a little bit too cereal heavy for me. Not only in flavor, but in mouthfeel as well. They're just grainy and very, very cereal-y. And like almost ice cream second. And this one, it tastes like Frosted Flakes cereal milk. It does. It captures that corn flavor, that sweet, milky flavor, but it's the texture I don't care for. And I don't really find this particular flavor all that nostalgic for me. It doesn't really throw me back. Maybe it's because I liked a lot of like Cocoa Puffs, that kind of a chocolatey cereal too. Yeah, where is Cocoa Puffs? Where are the chocolate flavors? Maybe that would have been more nostalgic for me. This one tastes similar to the Corn Pops. It has a corn flavor, corn base to it, but the texture is more prominent. You can feel the grit even more so than the Corn Pops. So this one's a miss for me too. I think in general, all of them were misses. The only one I really enjoyed was the Eggo one, which technically wasn't a cereal at all, but that one was pretty tasty. So Corn Pops and Frosted Flakes were similar level and flavor. The texture of the Frosted Flakes was worse. The Honey Smacks was all right. I think Honey Smacks was probably better. Fruit Loops didn't like at all. Rice Krispie Treats, Eggo I liked. That one I did like. Apple Jacks was there with Fruit Loops. I think it would be something like this if I were to rate them. This would be far and away better than all of these. And then in terms of cereal flavors, Honey Smacks, Pops, Frosted Flakes, Rice Krispie, Apple Jacks, and then Fruit Loops, I think would be the last one. That's just my rating for these flavors, but in general, I didn't really enjoy them all that much. But this one was pretty good. Alrighty, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching, and let me know down in the comments if you've tried any of these. If so, if you had a favorite. If you haven't had any of these, let me know which breakfast cereal was your favorite as a kid. Alrighty, my lovelies, thanks so much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Alrighty, I wonder what my kids are going to think. I wonder. Oh, get yourself an emmymade tote bag. And you can use it to carry all of your ice creams home from the grocery store. Oh my gosh, so much ice cream.